Hoje é dia de sol, alegria de coió, é curtir o verão.
Vem, Magalhães, rojão, traz a lenha pro fogão, vem fazer armação. Hoje é dia de sol, alegria de coió, é curtir o verão.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everybody. It's Rob the Black. Today my topic is I want to tell you guys how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu humbled me. This is my second take doing this one. The first one I thought I had the camera on, and I was talking for a while, and lo and behold, I'm doing it again. But it's for you guys. So without further ado, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu humbled me to let me realize, like, I'm not the baddest one out there. So to give you a little background and where I'm coming from, I originally came up doing Tang Soo Do, the sister art to Taekwondo. Taekwondo, the way of the foot and hand. Tang Soo Do, more the hand and foot. Both Korean martial arts. Tang Soo Do derived from Taekwondo. It was Tang Soo Do, the association quadrant, etc., etc. Competed a lot in point fighting tournaments, then transitioned over to Taekwondo, and fought Olympic style Taekwondo for years. Fought on national level. Buddy of mine made it on the U.S. national team. Shout outs to Aaron Morris, world class martial arts. So you guys should look him up. He was on the national team, so I trained with him. I belonged to two teams. We had a private team, which was Dai's Karate, and then I was on Temple University's team. The reason why I put this out there, because that world was a very arrogant world at that time. And it was the world that I'm in. I'm not saying Taekwondo was like that. The world that I was in, or the group. Very arrogant time period, yeah, the group was. You can't defeat me type mentality, even in the streets. I'll fight anybody in the streets. Then it's, if I fight someone, I'm going to try to see if I can kick and knock him out. It was a totally different mindset. Really cocky, really cocky. Been in a lot of street fights, and where Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu humbled me was that I had my first taste of it before I went to boot camp, 1997. My buddy Aaron, when I gave a shout out to, he started making his transition over to the Taekwondo. I'm sorry. He got a taste of it then, and he taught me a little bit about it when I learned about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we'll fast forward to 2004. I'm done with the Marine Corps. I'm going to school now. And I switched over to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Started training under Ricardo Almeida. Enzo Gracie associate. Now Ricardo he's his own association. And realizing that I'm not the baddest one out there, nor was I even close. It made me view things totally differently. For example, you can have the strongest, toughest animal in the jungle. And I'm going to use the elephant because he should really be the king of the jungle, not the lion. But to each his own, the lion is the king of the jungle, but the elephant, think about how big and how bad the elephant is. He can take on anything. If you want to throw a lion in there, go ahead. On land, he's the baddest thing out there. Nobody wants to really tussle with him. If you do, you're going to take a group of you guys to do that. You take him, pick him up, and put him in the ocean, the smallest shark could pick him apart and destroy him in his world. That's what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is like. You're removing someone out of their environment, bringing them into your world, a world that they're completely unfamiliar with. You see a lot of the sayings out there, or poster boards or sweatshirts. You'll see a person in the water, and you see the shark coming up, and it's saying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a shark, you're in my world. That's what it was. But that's what I learned and seen. Once I seen that and experienced that, that made me realize that anything can happen on the streets. You don't know who's who. You can have a wrestler, high school wrestler, dominate you on the ground, because that's his world. That's that subterranean world. And that's where it made me view things totally different, because I can get out on the street or in a bar, talk a little trash, and a lot of you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys are very humble. You get a lot of nerdy guys that do it, like just in general. I'm being called a nerd. Very humble. And people prey on those guys, but you don't realize that this guy's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And next thing you know, you take a swing at him, he takes you on the ground, and then next thing you know, he takes this arm with him over his shoulder, marches it home, puts it on his mantle with the other arms he's collected, just because you put yourself out there, because you had no idea who's who. So that really taught me a lot. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a very humble martial art. I'm not going to say sport, martial art. That's how it humbled me. And it humbled me throughout a lot of my life. As I get older, I'm changing. But even through my everyday dealings, I'm more happy-go-lucky. The last thing I want to do is get into an altercation with anyone, physical or verbal. It makes me sit back and think first before I react, versus being more hostile and reacting. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has taken me to a different plane. I'm a career purple belt. I've been a purple belt for a long time. A lot of my peers past me, they're black belts. And throughout the years, I have that same kind of time in as these guys have, so I can see it from that perspective. And I've been to different schools, and I see it throughout the years and throughout different academies and just with people on how their mindset and their lifestyle is. It's a brotherhood itself, but let me not digress into that. That's a topic for another day. But yes, I just wanted to give you guys an idea on how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a humbling experience. Think of it like this. It's the only martial art that you can go out there and literally try to kill the other person, kill the other person. And person taps out, they survive, you get up and do it again. You shake, you get up and do it again. You can't do that with regular karate. You do an eye gouge, the guy loses his eye. You do a knee kick, you break his knee, he can't fight you. Even boxers, you can't go all out because that other person will be beat up. But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we can roll and we can attack each other. And it goes to the point as far as once I'm choking you out, once you tap, I release it, we start all over again. So you're going full-fledged. And that humbles you there because you realize where you're at. That's the humbling experience. That you realize that, let's say myself at 180 pounds, rolling with someone 160 pounds, in less than 30 seconds, I'm getting submitted. That's the humbling experience. Because you can't do that with any other martial art. You can't go 120% and get back up and do it all over again. Get back up and do it all over again. The only thing that will slow you down is your stamina, not being beat up. That's the humbling experience. And that's how life is. How Rocky said, hey, life's going to beat you down. You beat you to your knees, but you got to get back up. So I'm not going to really stretch this out anymore, but that's my experience on how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu humbled me. And hopefully this could be a humbling experience for you, and I hope you guys learned something from this. But I just want you guys to have a good night, and peace.